I'm Angela Brown from Hill and Hollow Music in Saranac in the Adirondacks of northern New York. We are so happy to have the opportunity to work with Gretchen Koehler and Daniel Kelly to bring their latest album to you during the heart of the pandemic. These are difficult days, and music can really help to ease and brighten the way forward. I invite you to enjoy these irresistible tunes, both traditional and original, performed by a sparkling fiddler and a dynamic pianist. I give you Gretchen Koehler and Daniel Kelly.
Hello, my name is Gretchen Koehler and I'm here with Daniel Kelly, coming to you from beautiful upstate New York. We can't perform for you in person right now, but the kind folks at Hill and Hollow Music have helped us come up with a plan so that we can still bring you music this season.
Gretchen and I just recorded a new album at the historic Methodist Church in Saranac, New York. It's full of tunes we've played a lot over the years, but we've never yet recorded them.
We recorded the live album in an empty church, and we're also capturing this virtual CD release concert house party for you so that we can be together. During the performance, you'll see information about our hosts, how to support their venue, and also how to order a copy of the album live from Hill and Hollow Music.
We want to thank Angela Brown and Russell Fair for all their help making this project a reality, and we want to thank you for listening.
Now for the show. Like many fiddlers, I learn my tunes by ear, so sometimes I don't know the names of the tunes I play. So when I found out that the name of this next tune was I Buried My Wife and Danced on Her Grave, I felt compelled to write the wife her own jig to be played simultaneously with the husband's jig. So you can listen for that moment when Daniel and I both play the melodies at the same time. This set starts with the cock and the hen, goes into the kill-a-fill jig, then I Buried My Wife and Danced on Her Grave, and the wife's jig. Enjoy. I experienced the loss of two friends, one in her early 90s and the other in his early 30s. And the range of emotion that I felt really reminded me of a sun shower. I felt everything happening all at the same time. So I turned to music to process that grief. And in this next piece, you'll hear a little bit of rain and the clouds and the sun, and you may even hear a rainbow. I dedicate this to Kay Triddart and Paco Clark Bouchard. I call it The Fox's Wedding. I wrote this next tune for my son Sylvan. It's a little bit spunky, it's a little bit sneaky, and I gave it to him as a gift. And he liked the tune, but he was like way more excited to be able to name the tune. So I said, sure, you can name it. And in a flash, he said, Crazy Weasel, 1, 2, 3. So that has become the name of this tune. Then we're going to go into another reel called Julia Delaney, and then we end the set with a tune that also has a name that makes me laugh. It's called The Drunken Landlady. This next tune is by Brian Piquel, an old friend of mine and one of my favorite Canadian composers. It's called Born of a Summer's Day. And I just want to read what he wrote about this because he captured it beautifully. The day Julie's son Benoit was born, the air was still, the insects sang, and the fields shimmered in the hot July sun. I come from very traditional roots in my fiddling, although I love so many different genres of music. And Daniel is a jazz musician, and he too loves to play with different genres and just see what the possibilities are. So we really enjoy blending our two styles. I want to read a quote that Angela Brown wrote for the back of our CD because I like what she said. I'll read it here. Daniel's distinctive driving piano grooves create an unexpected sonic environment, nudging Gretchen beyond the boundaries of traditional folk. And I think that's just a great way of saying that we play old tunes, add new grooves. So we're going to play a set of old jigs. The first one is called The Banks of Loch Gauna, and we go into The Stolen Purse. We hope you enjoy.
One of the joys of playing with Gretchen is when we play these songs that have a strong sense of groove and rhythm. And these next two songs capture that feeling perfectly. Gondolin and Catharsis.
This next tune is for a very special couple that I sat next to on the rocking chair porch at the Mohonk Mountain House. I confess that I was eavesdropping into their conversation, but it was so beautiful. They've sat there talking about a lifetime of memories coming to this gorgeous Victorian castle in New Paltz, New York. And I wanted to write them a love song in the form of an old-time waltz that just flowed in and out of memory, felt very nostalgic. And I didn't even want the tune to end because when I finally got up and left the rocking chairs, I know that their conversation was still going, so that I left the tune to trail, to imagine what they still might be talking about. I call this tune Skytop.
I wrote this next piece during the pandemic. It's called This Moment, and it's really just about taking one moment at a time and being thankful for each moment. next tune is called Wizard's Walk by Jay Unger. We had a lot of fun taking this contra dance song and putting it into a salsa feel. Hope you enjoy it.
We invite you to stick around after the last tune for a meet and greet with Daniel and me from our homes in upstate and downstate New York. We look forward to talking to you. See you in a few minutes.
We want to thank our hosts for this evening and let you know that the next two songs are Midnight on the Water and Bonaparte's Retreat. Thanks so much.
Well, hello everybody. I am Gretchen Koehler and I am coming to you live from St. Lawrence County in northern New York. And I'm here to answer questions and talk about the new CD, live from Hill and Hollow, selections that you just heard Daniel Kelly and me play. So feel free to write questions and ask us whatever you'd like to know in the comment section. And I would like to say hello to some Mad Stop fiddlers who have joined us. Mad Stop is Potsdam spelled backwards, and that's the name of my students here. And so Emily and Annie and Paul, I'm very glad to have you here. So thanks for listening. And I am not alone in answering questions. I would like to introduce my good friend and jazz musician, composer, arranger, Mr. Daniel Kelly. Let's see if I push the right button. He should appear. There you are. Hello.
Hey,
Hi, Daniel.
how are you, Gretchen?
I'm doing very well. It's nice to see you today.
Great to see you.
And we are also going to be joined by the founder and director of Hill and Hollow Music, Angela Brown, who is coming to you from Saranac, New York. And then with a click of the button, Angela appears. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Gretchen. Hi, Daniel. That was a great show. Fabulous show. Congratulations on the CD. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I got an email as we were playing from Elaine Dewar that wanted to say hello to you and Russ. And she wasn't able to click in on the live comments. And so she and I, of course, play in the Orchestra of Northern New York together. And you have your paths cross often in the Saranac area. So just so happy to have this community of people watching today.
Oh, great.
So we are here, as I said, to talk about the making of Live from Hill and Hollow, but I wanted to start the questioning towards you, Angela Brown, the director of Hill and Hollow Music. Would you please, I know a lot of people listening are usually your audience members at your concert series, but there are a lot of people listening today that might not know about what you are all about. So if you could tell us where you're located and how long you've had a concert series and what types of music you usually play during your season.
Sure. Love to tell you about that. So Hill and Hollow Music is a chamber music presenting organization. We present 6 to 10 concerts a year, mostly classical chamber music, think string quartets, piano trios, but we also love jazz and we love world music. We love kind of hybrid music, vocal music. And so we love it all and we try to put it out there. We are very rural in Saranac, New York, and we present the concerts in a beautiful acoustic space, a historic church. And so we are now in year 26 of doing this, hard to believe. And early on in maybe year 5, we started with the residency program and went into a lot of schools, did a lot of community engagement, senior residences and so forth. And over the years, we have morphed and kind of felt that there was a need for artists like you who are busy, who you guys live apart from one another. You can't just get together once a week and rehearse. So, so we feel there was a need to start a retreat program, an artist residency program for musicians to come and work on a special project. And that is exactly what you guys did and did so well. Yeah.
Well, we're so thankful that we were able to do it. So you have not only this wonderful concert series, and I actually have some pictures I want to show from a concert a little while ago. I'll get to that in a second. But we had the plan that we were going to try to maybe come do a residency and do a live concert and maybe do a video. And then when the pandemic hit, I actually thought, I thought, well, that's over. That's not happening. So I had forgotten about, we won't be able to do any projects. And it was so nice that we reconnected with you and you were so encouraging and said, let's just think outside the box and what could you do to still make this happen? So we're so grateful we got to come. We'll talk about that more. Let me show you some pictures from 2015 15 when Daniel and I just became a duo, and this was one of our very first gigs, was at Hill and Hollow Music at the beautiful Methodist Church. I'll show you some pictures from that concert. Yeah, so we just put together the Waxwing CD. That was our first CD together, and there we are, and there's that beautiful 1925 9-foot Steinway Model D piano. It was very, very hot that day. Alicia Bodimer took these pictures, another Mad Stop fiddler. And my 13-year-old son, Sil, step danced with us. And there we go. So it was so nice to be able to play at your concert series. Let me see if I can bring us all back. There we go. Yes. So it was such a warm and wonderful audience. We really loved playing there with you. So thanks for supporting us.
And I just want to say, because so many people in the North Country know him, it was Joel Hurd from North Country Public Radio who was taking lessons with you. And he is a good friend of Hill and Hollow too. And he was suggesting you for quite a long time. I think, it took a year or two before we actually got you. But it's thanks to Joel Hurd that we met you and Daniel, and we owe him that.
It's so nice. And actually, Daniel doesn't know this, but I actually owe playing with Daniel to Joel a bit too, because after you and I had done some work together, I thought those projects were going to be finished. And I was having lunch with him and saying, oh, I really enjoy this piano player so much. It's so fun playing with him. I'm going to be sad when we don't have any more projects together. And he said, you should talk to him about playing with you as a duo. And so he kind of gave me the little nudge. So we owe a lot to Joel, don't we? Yeah. So we'll get more into how Daniel and I met in just a moment. I wanted to hit upon another joint activity that we all did this summer. So of course the pandemic hit, it turned all of our worlds upside down. Yours is a venue, ours is musicians. But then Benjamin Pomerantz organized this curbside at the Harborside concert series where there was a stage at the Plattsburgh Marina outside, and cars came in the audience, and the audience basically stayed in their cars, and the music was fed in to them that way. And I want to show just a quick glimpse of this, and then I'm going to ask Daniel to talk a little bit more about that concert. So here's the finale of this. Daniel, your reaction, which I can see already. How was it to play that concert?
That cracks me up every time I see it. That was one Gretchen and I will never forget. It was such a fun concert. We started not knowing what it was going to be like. We're going to be on stage. Everyone's going to be in their car or like near their car. You had to be able to touch your car so that everyone could keep distance. And we were thinking, I don't know how this is going to go. And then after the first tune, we finished, and all this honking, headlights flashing, windshield wipers. And after every song, we just looked at each other and cracked up. It was such a memorable concert.
It really was. And that's where we reconnected with you, Angela. And then we started re-talking about reimagining how we could do a project together through the residency program. So we're so grateful. I also have some pictures. These pictures are so great. And again, it's even with that video, it's hard to explain what it felt like to be there. So I'm going to show you a couple of pictures of this. So here's the stage at the marina. And this is our view from the stage. This is the beautiful audience in their cars. We see Angela Brown and Benjamin Pomerantz, the organizers on that beautiful, beautiful day. We're thankful to Laura Carbone for capturing these pictures. And there's my son, now he's in college, who also came to play with us. This is Daniel Kelly at the keyboard. You see Russell Fair in the background doing sound. There's Daniel just enjoying the crowd. And at the end of the concert, we waved to everybody from the edge of the stage. It's Gretchen Koehler, Daniel Kelly, Russell Fair, Angela Brown, and Benjamin Pomerantz. And Benjamin also wrote the most glorious article about us for the Lake Champlain Weekly. It was really one of the most in-depth articles that we've ever had done about us. It was quite beautiful. So there was just so much light that came in the moment of darkness, as we just didn't know what was going on with the world. So very special memories. So thank you, Angela, for making those happen for us.
Thank you.
So I'm going to look and see if there's any questions in the comments, and I'm going to turn over some question asking to Angela. Do you have any questions for us, Angela?
I do. I'm fascinated that you are also you're a classically trained violinist and you play in a symphony orchestra. Can you tell us a little bit about your training?
Sure. I started playing violin in kindergarten. The wonderful quartet came to my kindergarten classroom, and they gave us a paper, and it was free lessons. And apparently I made it home with that piece of paper, and I handed it to my mom, and I wanted to do that. So I tend to lose things, so the fact that I made it home with that paper meant that I was serious. And so I started the free lessons, and right away we went to a fiddle contest because there was one quite near our house, and I fell in love with that music too. And we met a 16-year-old named Craig Eastman that lived just down the road from us. So I started taking fiddle lessons. So that consisted of me going over to his house, and I sat in a chair, he sat in a chair, and he played music for me, and I played it back to him. So that's how fiddlers learn. We just do it by ear. And there wasn't a lot of explaining. There was just, he'd play, and I'd listen, and he'd communicate to me that way. So I ate up a lot of tunes that way. And then through the years, I kept up my violin training. I went to music school. I was an orchestra director. I loved conducting. And then I went to McGill University in Montreal, so it's not too far from Plattsburgh, and Saranac. And so, but I never told anybody at school that I was a fiddle player. I kept those worlds very separate. And then I moved to the North Country, right near the Crane School of Music. There was a lot of music teachers here, classical music teachers, so it became more obvious to me that I should really just focus on fiddling. So I just started teaching people how to fiddle in the North Country. We have this wonderful group. I usually have 30 to 40 fiddlers a year that play with me, and we perform around the area, and it's just good fun.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So
Nonstop.
Potsdam spelled backwards. Yeah. Yes. And Daniel,
Okay.
how about you? Same question,
Yeah.
I think.
I went to college and I started as a classical pianist, and I graduated as a jazz pianist. One of my friends, Martin Ripple from college, is actually watching.
Oh,
So
I
it's
sent him a
something-
CD. It was sweet.
I saw his name.
Yeah, but through it all, it's always been improvisation. And in our duo, there's always moments where Gretchen will, leave me spaces to just go off and improvise, inspired by what we played or what's going on in the moment. One of the pieces we played at Curbside by the Harbor Side, was a piece inspired by the sound of the cars honking, which is what a hoot, So I took that sound that I was hearing and incorporated it into the improvisation. Obviously, it was really, silly and fun, but I love having that flexibility. So along with playing classical piano and jazz piano, I just love to freely improvise as well. And obviously improvisation is the core idea in jazz. You want to be able to take the melody, take the chord structure of the song, and just make it your own.
I have a question about improv. I'm going to just interject here. So how is it different to improvise in front of thinking about the pandemic and how things have shifted for us, how is it different, or maybe it's not, to improvise in front of a live audience and to improvise over a live stream when you don't maybe physically have the people right there? Can you feel the audience, or how is it for you?
Yes, it's very different. Mm-hmm. Even though the musicians, when we're improvising, we're not looking at the audience, we may be looking down at our instruments or whatever, we can feel the energy in the room and can hear how it's going. And so definitely, I feel it's like a circuit being connected. When you're improvising, it connects with the audience, and then that attention feeds your energy and your creative ideas through the improvisation. So it's really this conversation that's happening. So it is different when you're live streaming. I found that in live streams, the comments are the new applause. So, I've done live streams, you've done live streams. A lot of times you play the first piece, and then you stare into the computer and you go, and then people start commenting and you go, oh, I'm actually playing for people. And then it's like a concert. But
somebody's out there.
Yeah, there has to be people out there. It's very different whether you're doing it for an audience or just doing it alone in your practice room.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So that's something we've had to kind of adapt to as musicians in this new way we're playing for people. I have a follow-up question. I have lots of questions for you, Daniel. I'm curious if because I'm so fascinated. Someone asked in the comments the jazz violinist that influenced and inspired me. I'm not a jazz musician. I'm a fiddler, so I could name lots of fiddlers traditional fiddlers that I'm influenced by. But we play together and we influence each other. But I'm not a jazz musician, so I'm fascinated by the whole improv that Daniel does. So my question is this: is that when you're improvising and that you're creating a CD, like when we were recording, does that factor into your creativity? Do you feel freer because there's a little pressure because you're capturing it, or do you not take as many risks, or do you even think about it that much? Curious if there's a difference.
I think it depends on the context, and with the context of this recording, we wanted to keep the songs pretty concise, as if you could play them on the radio. Mm-hmm. So I did make more concise improvisations I kind of decided, maybe I'll play it 2 times through the form of the song. Mm-hmm. So that when we're playing live, I feel the freedom to break the form altogether. And, I'm not following the chords at all. I'll just go on a total detour. Mm-hmm. And that has its own, it's really exciting because you're just kind of jumping off the cliff and going like, how am I going to get back to form? It's all of a sudden, the endorphins kick in and it makes it really exciting. But it's also, every context is different. When you're recording for the album, you want to make sure that everything you play is something that you want to hear over and over again for years. So you just want, there's another type of focus that is your attention, that draws your attention, and that. So they're different contexts for sure, but each one has its own challenges and gifts. Right.
Anything else, Angela, you want to ask us? I'll turn it over to you for a minute.
Do you have are you trying to dream up some more projects? What's next for you guys? I know you teach a great deal.
Yeah, well, it's hard to think it. Well, it's not. It's thinking about the future is always got an asterisk next to it. Like you make some plans, and we'll see how the numbers are. And so Daniel and I have an actual live gig at the Norwood Village Green coming up in 2021 in. At the end of that series, I think it's August 1st or 2nd. And so hopefully we'll be able to it's a beautiful outdoor venue in Norwood, New York. Hopefully we'll be able to play that. And we have some other outdoor gigs, but but other than that, we're going to be sort of touring with the CD with this kind of format is our way to be live. And I know Daniel's doing a lot of live streams down in near New York City. So that's nice.
I'm playing with different jazz bands. I have one coming up on December 10th with a group of mine called Works with a great jazz multi-instrumentalist, Scott Robinson. And he's played with everybody. But that's really exciting. And we're going to actually just freely improvise. It's going to...
How do you tell the audience how you can listen, how you can access those live streams, Daniel?
Yes, that'll be available. I run a nonprofit with my friends. It's called Connection Works, and it'll be streamed on that website, Facebook page. And the venue we're streaming from is called Soapbox Gallery, and we'll be streaming there as well at the Soapbox Gallery. That's a place which in Brooklyn has been kind of a center for jazz musicians live streaming, especially since the pandemic started. Almost every night of the week, they're streaming something really amazing, and the sound and the image are really high quality. So it's been really a centerpiece of the New York City jazz live stream community. Oh. So we're happy to be doing that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm also doing a project too where I interview people and I write music inspired by their stories. Usually I travel to a place and I talk with people and I have a microphone and we're sitting down in a chair and I'm recording their stories. And this time I'm actually conducted the interviews with people living in Florida, and I conducted them over Zoom. And now I'm listening back to those recordings, and I'm in the process of composing music inspired by the stories of this community. And the people I'm interviewing all have different types of disabilities. So that's the theme of the concert, bringing those stories to life. So a lot of my projects bring in other strands of my interests other than just music. And this one is kind of documentary story gathering, storytelling.
That's very interesting. Yes. So we can go to your website and look and see, get links to some of these projects. And likewise with Gretchen, you can visit your website and
Yes. So I'm
lots
at,
of stuff.
yes, I'm at GretchenKoehlerMusic.com, and so you can look in the calendar and see what's coming up. You can also order the CD there too. There's a store, and then there's a page about Daniel and me. There's lots of little things you can click on in there. And Daniel's, of course, is DanielKellyMusic.com, and he's got his calendar in there. And we both have Facebook pages, and there's ways to find us on social medias too. So yeah, please join us. We'd love to have you come and be part of our other musical projects as well. So we should tell people, Daniel, how you and I first met, because you were just talking about a Raconto project, what you just did. So tell them how we got together.
Yeah, certainly. Well, as you said, these interview-based projects I do are called Raconto. That's the Esperanto word for story. And I've done 12 of these around the country. And they're all focused on a specific community living in a specific place. I interviewed people in Long Island after Hurricane Sandy. I've gone to Memphis, Wyoming, Iowa, Florida, all around the country, interviewing different communities. And I was commissioned by Community Performance Series in Potsdam, at SUNY Potsdam, to interview farmers who live around the college. It's a college town, but hundreds of miles around is farmland. And the presenter wanted to have, fill the theater with farmers who, she says, they're always busy. They don't come to the theater. So let's do this and get them involved. And so it was a really exciting week. I went around the community, met with independent, people who own their own family farms and have for generations, sat at their kitchen tables, talked to them about what life is like, waking up at 4 a.m, milking cows. And it was really eye-opening for me and left me with an indelible impression about how much, I honor the work that they do, creating food for people to eat and drink. But anyways, in the midst of all that, I wanted to have a flavor of the area musically involved in the concert too. And so the last interview I had was with Gretchen. I went to your house, and this is the first time we met. Just went inside there, and in an hour, she gave me a crash course of all these different types of fiddle music. Well, first of all, I didn't even know there were different types of fiddle music, but I learned right away that, music from Quebec is very different than music from, the hills of Tennessee, which is different from, and all these things. So it was a crash course in all the style, and I loved it. And I thought, man, she's got to be on stage with us. So when we did our performance, Gretchen was a special guest, and I wrote and arranged some of the music, especially for her. So she was on the stage with a jazz band playing. And then after that, I think that's when you talked to Joel Hurd and said, hey, I'd love to continue playing with Daniel more. And soon after that, you asked me to, go over the music that soon after became the Waxwing recording, Waxwing CD. And then it's history.
Yeah, it was so fun because you're, as a musician, you kind of get used to your own genre, and you know a lot about it. You're so interested in it, and then all of a sudden to be for me to stand in the middle of this Brooklyn-based jazz band, and I was like, wow, this is so different than anything I had done. And as a fiddle player, I always talk to my students about improvising. I felt like the word improvise was my word. I felt very comfortable with it. And then meeting Daniel and how he uses the word improvise in his music was like, Wow, there's a lot that I don't know about this word. So for me, I stick very close to the melody, and the changes that I make are much more subtle. I make ornamentation changes. I might add some fills, slides, drones, all that things, and I do that on the spot. And I never play the tune the same way twice. And there's all these things that you can do, but it's very tiny. And if you're not used to fiddle music, you would even miss a lot of it. It sounds like the tune is just repeating itself over and over again. Whereas when Daniel improvises, it seems very big to me. Like it's obvious that he's doing something, especially in a free improv. He's taking maybe the seed of the fiddle tune and then going on an adventure and then handing it back, and it's always different and it's always very exciting. But I think that's why those styles work together, because they have the same spirit of adventure in them, even if they're coming at it from a slightly different way. And so I think that's they work together really well. So I like that a lot. So. I'm looking to see if there's any more questions out there. I know that people have asked us how we rehearsed during the pandemic, and how we would prepare an album. And so Daniel and I, as mentioned, we live about 6 hours away from each other. So we have already for years done a lot of long distance collaborating. I'll maybe have come up with a tune that I really like and then send a recording down to him, maybe with me even playing piano, a little sketch of some ideas. And then he can just, he adds what he thinks might sound good and then sends it back to me. We go back and forth. And then when we meet in person, it's usually like a marathon weekend of just playing lots and lots of music and trying out ideas. And then that lasts us for a year or two. And then we might do that process again. So we were already set. And then the music on this CD are tunes that we, Daniel's got a busy touring schedule and we just really haven't had time to sit down. It's, it takes a while to make a CD. Not the way we did it. We did it very quick, I have to say. But so these are tunes that we hadn't recorded, but we play on stage, and we needed to polish them up a bit and make some final decisions about them. But it was material that we've known for years, and that's how we were able to pull it off in such a short time. We came to Saranac in October, and and we have the CD now. So that's how that all kind of came together.
Yeah, you guys were amazing. How you prepared a lot before you came together in Saranac, and you really did your homework. And once you hit the ground running, and it was a very intensive process. And I was watching you guys and often disbelief the energy that you were able to maintain for hours and days on end. It was really remarkable.
Right, Daniel? We had lots of energy. He was tired. Poor guy. It was really great. I mean, with that concert that we just watched was our dress rehearsal for making the CD. And so, we had, so Harvey House is where the musicians stay. And on top of making a CD, we were considering the pandemic. And so we didn't want to be foolish or, and so the house is huge. And so we were able to eat in a different room and talk to each other, when we had masks off, and we did all this setup with masks on, and then, tried to space as we recorded. It's a very big room with sliding glass doors, and Russell Fair was recording us, and he had a cable out the door into another room, so on top of already doing a big project, which would have been busy in normal times, we had to have all this other level of safety that happened during that. And so we're grateful everybody was able to be flexible, and we really kind of just flew in and flew out and got in and got out and did this as quickly as we could. The concert at the church the next day, which became the CD, was really nice. There was they have a beautiful, like I said, I wrote this down, 1925 9-foot Model D Steinway piano. That's gorgeous. And we had, I don't even know, a half dozen people in the back that were part of the Hill and Hollow music listening. So we had a small, intimate audience so that we could do it safely. And then we recorded it. So that's why it's live at Hill and Hollow. But it really, I can't believe it. I mean, we feel so lucky that we were able to get this project done under these circumstances.
Yeah. And we are really happy to have had a project too, because there's not a heck of a lot going on in our world either. And so it was great for all of us, I think. And I'm very, very happy and satisfied about that, and happy that you have something to put out there.
Mm-hmm.
And people will really enjoy that CD.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, it's quite a feat. We did it. Let me see. I'm looking to see if there's any more questions. Do you have anything else, Angela, that we might want to hit upon? And I'm reading.
I think not. I think we're good to go.
Sounds
I
good.
want to thank everybody for tuning in and just.
For sure. Yes. And I want to, again, if you would like a copy, but can I do it? Of Live from Hill and Hollow. It's just so exciting for me to look at the album. I mean, it's here. Daniel hasn't even gotten a copy of it yet. It's real. You can order it at Gretchen Koehler Music. .com/store, and you'll also see the Waxwing, which we recorded as well, and that was that one that it's hard to hold it up to the camera, full of some other, that's got 52 fiddle harmonies on there, so that's quite a different sound. This one really sounds more like when we play as a duo, so that's what we tried to capture. I would like to wrap up by reminding people how they can keep in touch with all of us. We touched upon it quickly, but Angela, how do people keep in touch with Hill and Hollow Music?
Oh, please go to our website, hillandhollowmusic.org, and we have a calendar of events there, and a little blog, and you can sign up to be on our email list. We'd love to keep you informed about concerts, and we have a Facebook page as well.
Fantastic. And Daniel, how do people keep in touch with you?
Yeah, please visit danielkellymusic.com, and then please, like Daniel Kelly Music on Facebook and Daniel Kelly Piano on Instagram.
Got it. And I'm at GretchenKoehlerMusic.com is my website and my Facebook page. And yes, I would love to have you join me on there. And I'm on Instagram, Gretchen Koehler Music, and I'm also on Twitter at Koehler Music. I don't have as many Twitter followers, but if you'd love to be part of that, I do post things. So it really is a nice way for us to all stay connected. So please go to those pages and connect with us, because this is our way of being with everybody now. So the social media has become a little more important in our lives because of this. And I also want to just thank Angela for accepting our application and inviting us into the Hill and Hollow Music family. I want to thank Russell Fair for all of his patience and expertise in recording us both at the house concert and at the church for the CD. The Methodist Church offered their beautiful space and their Steinway piano, and I know that's the happy home of the Hill and Hollow Music series. And I want to thank everyone listening right now. We always have appreciated you, but we really appreciate you even more than ever during this stressful and flexible and creative time that we're going through for all these musicians and venues. So it's really, your support is so important to us, and we really heartfelt thank you to everyone. I have some credits to roll, and again, I'll just say goodbye. Thanks everyone for being here. Thank you, Angela. Nice to see you, Daniel. And
thanks, Gretchen. Thanks,
right.
Daniel.
Bye.
bye, everyone.